Okay, family and friends, it's a day later, back here at the Man Cave, Wistful Vistas in beautiful suburban San Diego, California. I'm feeling pretty spunky. I had my first exercise, post-flu exercise today. Wasn't 100%, but I wasn't 0% either. Still feeling it. By the way, if you get that flu, do not mess with it. So we put this forward-facing helmet cam on yesterday with the help of some super glue, the gel control, because it retains some pliancy. I like the fact that it retains some pliancy, and it will flow into some thickness. It will flow into some curves and kind of fill those points out. So we're going to move the tape. Removing the tape. I am filming this with a GoPro 6 I just bought because I got a promotion from GoPro that said $100 off of the 6. Not crazy about that because it irks me. A few things irk me about the whole. First of all, they make a wonderful product. It's very, very reliable, and I put them through their paces, and they work quite well. But I have to say there are a few disparaging sort of comments I have to make. And the first is, why does every generation require a new battery? That forces you, new battery charger, that forces you back to about 40 or 50 bucks worth of ancillaries if you're going to be using the thing at all, because you can't ever live with just one battery. Secondarily, this latest generation requiring the speaker, what do they call that thing? I can't remember. Anyway, it's a flat slab-sided thing that ultimately is going to have to go on the side here if I use the iPhone 6. That just seems to be a very retrograde step to me. Assuming there's some sort of compelling technical reason for them to have done that. But it still adds another $50 of ancillary equipment you have to get. And on top of that, it's a little brick, so it's not small at all. So for an action cam to be able to live up to its name as an action cam, adding that to it just seems counterintuitive to me. I'd love to see at least an option. I don't know what we gave up in terms of the functionality on the 6 to have to do that, but I'd like to have an option where you don't have to use it. So since we're still a little concerned about this thing having the strength to stay on the helmet, it's staying on the helmet, I'm pretty sure. But speaking of GoPros, I'm going to revert to a GoPro Hero 3 Plus that's in the Cooper inventory here, and we're going to mount it on the front of the camera. We're going to go with a mono microphone and mount it through the face shield, onto this helmet. So I'm going to spare you with that part of the detail, and perhaps by the next time you'll see this, we'll have the camera mounted. So stand by. Okay, so we're back, and I have the GoPro 3 mounted on the chin piece. I'm going to call this something less than elegant. It is quite a bit to be hanging off the front of you. We'll have to see. I think there's other more compact ways to do this, but for our experiment, bear with me, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll see how it all works out. But in any case, the camera's mounted. I'm going to attach the mic adapter, and then I'm going to feed the mic through the face shield there down into the interior of the helmet. So we will be done officially as far as mounting it when that occurs. Look, there's a GoPro looking at a GoPro. I wonder if they could have like a baby session or something after all this. But anyway, the next time you see me with this particular video log, I should be speaking to you from the interior of the helmet using the GoPro 3 as we fire this whole contraption up. So stand by. the adventure continues.
So once again, we're faced with that existential question, the perennial question of the moto vlogger, and that is it all working? It appears to be working. What you see right in front of you is my iPhone, which is, of course, is your primary means of communication with the GoPro, and the light's blinking and everything's hooked up. My only lack here is I'm not entirely sure what's in my field of view as we look back into the man cave. Let's utilize 21st century technology and close that garage door. There she goes. And got to put on my gloves. We'll get on here. We'll get on Tony, write him up, and I'll be right back to you. Okay, as promised, again, subject to everything working, I came right back to you. So we'll put on the gloves. I'm going to bore you with a little discourse as we put on the gloves here. Why stop at a chance to lecture the audience and test their patience? But we're riding Tony Thunder, and I just found out today the porpoises, no porpoises were harmed in the filming of this particular video log. But I just found out today that my machine is on the list of recalls for the Brembo brakes. The much vaunted Brembo M50 brakes are being recalled. Why? I need to go online and find out in our great internet community if anybody can give me insights as to why, or insults if they wish, if they're that kind of person, and find out what's all the ado about. Okay, let's fire this little turkey up here. Not sure what you can see. I tried to adjust it so that you could see at least a fair amount. V for neutral, kickstand down, kickstand up, contact. So, can you hear me? I don't know. I can hear me. So there's a recall going on these Brembo brakes, and why I don't know. So I'm a little concerned as we mount up Tony Thunder here, but I love riding this thing so much that that's what we're going to take. On the off chance that suddenly the brakes act up, blow up, throw me 50 feet through the air or whatever, and it's the end of the world. But I don't think it rises to that level. And I use the two finest scientific instruments at my disposal to check out the brakes. Those are my eyeballs, because I have no idea what to look for otherwise. There's no fluid, no loose parts on the brakes. Again, I don't know what the recall was for or about, but nothing obviously indicating that we're in any sort of imminent danger. So, having ridden it yesterday, survived that experience, we're going to test our chances and try it again. So, in the meantime, leaving that behind, that whole subject behind, which means I'm going to have the pleasure of a ride down to San Diego GP Motorcycles for them to sort that out, which probably means a couple of days in the shop, at least at Aprilio's expense, I should assume, ultimately Brembo's expense. But we're trying out this chin mount on the GoPro. So far it's still there. I've got it all tucked up, the microphone's attached. Is it working? Well, we talked about that earlier, and chances are it's working. So we're going to do just a little quick ride around. This isn't going to be much in the way of activity. Of course, we'll let the cross traffic go, and see how it looks riding. I think that in terms of the forward vision and the shared experience for a motovlog, that this is probably about as good as you can get in terms of the forward view and feeling very much a part of the riding adventure. However, what I'm concerned about is when you're riding a motorcycle, like right now I'm looking down the road here, down Camino del Sur, Road of the South. Your head is really on a swivel. pardon my hand there, but I had to close off the face shield. So your head's on a swivel and you're looking, oops, signal on. You're looking for cars coming, different hazards and things like that, and there's no dampening. I don't have any gimbal or any kind of dampening on this particular setup, so I'm a little worried about how jerky that might appeal. Good grief. So that's my worry, that it's going to appear a little jerky, and I'm filming this on the 3 Plus, which is what now, 4 generations back, and there have been software issues, updates, whatnot. Love that auto blipper. There she goes. What fun, huh? That have been aimed at improving the stabilization of the image. So we're going with an old one, which should show, all right, as bad as it can get. But anyway, should serve as a pretty indication of how it might be, particularly if we upgrade all the way to the 6, which I mentioned earlier. I just purchased and put the mic adapter on the front end of this thing, and it has, by all accounts, by everything I've seen on the internet, a much improved electronic image stabilization, EIS. So that will undoubtedly help in the experience. But this old, venerable GoPro 3, my goodness, 4 years old, which is an eternity in the world of electronics, as we all know, poor old thing. It will be a fine test to see just how jerky it appeals. So, as I looking down the road now, there's not too much to worry about it, checking my rearview mirrors every now and then, which, by the way, on the Aprilia Tuono are actually usable in their stock form. Very different for motorcycles. Most of the rear view mirrors that I've had experience with on stock motorcycles, well, they're not useless, but really hard to get a good picture on. And in fact, the 2014 BMW, I added a set of mirror extenders, which kick them out about an inch and get most of your shoulders out of the rear view. Here you don't need it. So I'm moving my head. I check back and forth on the rear view to see if there's some clown that's tailgating me or somebody snuck up I'm not aware of. That and keeping my head mostly focused straight ahead here as we ride through a beautiful afternoon. It's about 65 degrees in San Diego. We've actually cooled off a few degrees. But it's just a gorgeous day, and I realize that a lot of the world is stuck behind winter and can't get on their 2 wheels for their 2-wheel therapy, and ladies and gentlemen, you have my sympathies. But here in San Diego, we're blessed with this few great days, so we're enjoying them. This is my second official ride of 2018 as I recuperate from a really severe bout of the flu, which was the first flu I've caught in about 10 years, and the only flu that I've ever gone to the hospital with. So if you get it, as I mentioned earlier on, if you get this flu, do not play with it. Get yourself some professional attention, get it taken care of, and certainly don't push the line, because it's particularly severe this time around. So moving past the flu and on to the riding experience here, with the head swiveling and the bouncing up and down, particularly illustrative road here, because this road is a little bit on the rough side. We're going to do a loop, my typical test road loop here. It's a little bit on the rough side, so you're going to get some up and down bumps and some typical road jostles at this time of day. And this time of day, you've got to really be alert, because this is the first day back after ML King Day. By the way, thanks to ML King for pioneering civil rights and civil responsibilities for all of us. I think that's a remarkable story. So this is the day after ML King Day, and day after the week after New Year's and all that stuff. So a lot of people are experiencing their first day back at work, first day taking the kids to school. They may not necessarily be entirely as focused on the road as we'd like them to be. All right, let's crack her open a little bit here. Nobody around? Yeah. I already broke the speed limit. Lane ends, right lane ends. Don't worry, this is not going to be just all fun and games. We're going to run into the tail end of the traffic up here. But we got a little acceleration there. Didn't even carry that many revs, but you get a feeling of the glorious sound this particular machine makes. And here we do. We run right into the back of the traffic ahead of us, and it's a Tesla, of course, the Tesla SUV, $140,000 car, so rich people can buy this, assuage their feelings about global warming and their contribution to the carbon footprint, and be subsidized by all the rest of the people, including the poor people, so that they feel better about themselves, having spent all of that money. It's the electric world coming up. I'm not going to hasten to it because I will, whether I'm around or not, I will miss the sounds of a V4, as the English say, at full song. I love that expression, full chat. Let's get by here with the bike lane. I know, don't forget, lane filtering is legal in California. Alright, got the traction control lights going, which is kind of fun. Makes you feel macho. Makes you feel all macho and all. So we've got a little bit of a clear road here, but this is pretty heavily patrolled. So we're not going to challenge it too much. We're only doing about 65, 66. Not sure if you can see the speedometer. Doing about 65, 66 miles an hour on a closed road, by the way. This is a professional rider on a closed circuit. So we have license to go a little bit quicker than perhaps ordinary mortals would be doing, encased in cages on their four wheels. So we're on the two wheels, and so far I haven't had to stop at too many intersections. We've kind of looked out on the lights, so I don't know what coming up to a stop at an intersection is going to look like with this thing, and swiveling back and forth to see if it's okay. We stopped at a couple, but not too sure what a full day's riding. By the way, the front end of this thing looks supercilious. It looks ridiculous. But when you get to be older, nice news for all of you folks out there. The good news is, when you get to be older, people expect eccentricity. So already they're kind of saying, what's that old fart doing on that crazy hot rod motorcycle at his age? So you've already got that going on for you. And they kind of expect you to do odd things like run around with a big blister on the front of your helmet. Okay, a little panning left.